evening, everybody. This is Mike Tedesco of Wrestleview.com.
And Victoria Tedesco.
Whoa, you're not on the wrong show. It's not Monday night. I know you might have a little PTSD over that. This is not the post-Raw show. Okay, everybody? We are not talking about anything WWE tonight. No Raw to talk about. We're actually going to talk about a show that we're excited about and that was entertaining and that was fun to watch. We're going to be talking about AEW's Double or Nothing. We're going to make some WWE references because we got to talk about that, of course. But, you know, this show was something else. This show really was something else. And I'm excited to talk about it. Victoria and I watched the show tonight, which was live from Las Vegas, the very first show under the AEW banner. That's All Elite Wrestling. And hey, let's just talk about it. Let's say hi to everybody in the chat room too. This is a surprise show. This is Wrestleview Live number 57. This is a surprise show. I didn't even think about doing it until around 6:30, 7 o'clock. And I said to Victoria, I was like, hey, you want to do a post show after this? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, then it's set. Then that's what we're doing. Thank you everybody for joining us in the chat room tonight. This is great. Jason F. in the chat room, Goosey in the chat room, Randy M., Quentin Walters, Mex Guy 718, Fabgum 20, Nafisadat, that is. They are all joining us in the chat room. Ronnie's in with us, and we're gonna wait. We got more people coming in. I'm sure of that. I'm also going to I have to actually tweet out our link to the Twitterverse as well. But good crowd, Victoria. What'd you think of the show tonight?
Wow. I mean, honestly, in the beginning, I was like, it's all right. It's decent. It's good. Definitely like areas of improvement for sure. But then it progressively got better and better and better and better. And I was just wowed by the end of the night, just by how much they had going on. It was incredible. It really was. And I was surprised. Surprises. By
that's the name of the game here.
Much I enjoyed it.
Yes.
So it definitely was a little guarded, not going to lie, you know.
Yeah, I can understand that.
But at the same time, though, I wanted to give it a fair chance, and I didn't even want to think about WWE while watching it. I'm a firm believer in healthy competition. If this is what's going to drive WWE to do better things, and it's another product for me to watch to enjoy wrestling, I'm all for it.
Hell
Why
yeah.
not?
Yeah.
So
absolutely. I've been dying for a reason to just I'm the post Raw guy. We do enjoy wrestling. We enjoy Monday Night Raw. We enjoy all that stuff. I'm not gonna lie. We do. That's just it is that we are still WWE people, but just because you like WWE, and that's what I've been seeing on the internet for forever, pretty much since the AEW Double or Nothing pay-per-view was coming up.
Right.
It's that you're either on one side or the other. It's either the enemy side or the good side, which is AEW. And if you can't be on both. You can like both. It's okay. It's professional wrestling. And if you're a professional wrestling fan, and a lot of people made this point, so this is not an original point from me. You want wrestlers to have a place to go and ply their craft. And WWE, you could definitely make a lot of money, and some people choose that route, and they're still going to choose that route. There's no question about it. WWE is not going out of fashion. They're not going to be starving for people to sign with them. People will still sign with them. It's security. It is what it is. It's the big company. They're still pro wrestling, but it's nice to have. There's so many places people can go. New Japan Pro Wrestling. You can go to Impact if you really want to. I don't know why I still don't know why people would sign there, but people do. Now you have All Elite Wrestling, AEW. They just had an absolutely killer show tonight, and it's another place for people to go. It's another place for just workers to go and make a living.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing.
And honestly, it's one of those things where I was definitely one of those people who were laughing at the idea of them actually thinking that they can go against WWE, but now I'm like, wow, and I'll talk about it later tonight, but now I'm thinking to myself, this is definitely great competition. This is going to be something we're waiting. What tonight was just the start of something of a feud that's going to continue.
It's a revolution.
You know,
maybe not like the big revolution. You know what? I don't want them to compete against WWE. I just don't. I don't want to see it at all.
I'm only saying in the sense of like not. I'm just saying in the sense of it's good for them to know that each other's radar. That's what there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
The one thing that, like I said, and I'll just say it now so I don't forget. The one thing that AEW needs to do to exceed WWE is not talk about WWE.
I agree 100%. We're going to get into that.
And we're going to get into that. But that's just kind of like of an overlying thing.
Right.
They don't talk about it. Don't give into it.
Mm-hmm.
You're your own company.
Right.
They're their own company.
Right.
But there's nothing wrong with them kind of looking at each other and saying like, "Oh, that was a good idea. I like that."
Yeah.
And keeping each other on the radar, but not having to mention each other.
Correct. I do agree with that. Okay. Let's take a look before we really start breaking down the show. What did everybody think about this? And just so you know, in the chat room, Randy M said, "Thank you, Victoria, for saying that." Yes, absolutely. And hello to Power to the Smarks as well. We got a lot of people in this one. Kelowna is in the room.
That's shocking considering we were at 6, like I said, at 6:30. We were like,
yeah,
hey,
and it's a Saturday night. This is good stuff.
It's Memorial Day weekend.
You're spending part of your Memorial Day weekend with us right now. We appreciate that so much. All right, what did everybody think of the show? I'm seeing a lot of thumbs up in the chat room. Let's see what Twitter is saying. We got 81 votes, and I literally just put this thing out 10 minutes ago about 95% thumbs up.
Oh, thank goodness.
It couldn't be anything else.
No.
Everything
no. Because you know the number that we've been having lately. I mean,
God,
I know it's the post Raw show, but like normally, but
God, if this was 69, like that would just be insane.
I would have seriously thought, I'm like, Wrestleview's just conspiring.
Someone's absolutely trolling us if it's 69% at this point.
No, 95 is amazing, and that's not shocking at all.
No, I'm not surprised by that at all. All right, let me just run down the results real quick, and then we'll just break it down piece by piece and tell you what we liked and what we didn't like, and we'll just go from there. So the show kicked off with SoCal Uncensored. That's Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky defeating the Strong Hearts, Seema, T-Hawk, and El Lindemann. Britt Baker, Dr. Britt Baker, DND, the dentist, defeated Kylie Ray, Nyla Rose, and Awesome Kong, who was, no pun intended, actually there is a pun intended, obviously, an awesome surprise. Best Friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Barreta defeated Angelico, or Angelico, and Jack Evans. You're going to have to excuse me because I didn't know any of these guys really before the night began.
Yeah, guys, just so you know, we don't know anybody's names.
No, we went into this totally with...
So if we butcher something, sorry.
Yeah, just give us a break. But we went into this totally with a clean slate. I didn't let I tried not to let the internet influence my opinions on this.
I didn't even go on the internet.
I didn't let anybody's angry stuff influence me. I didn't let anything. I just wanted to go in this and just say, I'm gonna have if it's fun, I'm gonna have fun.
Open mind.
If it's just an open mind. That's it. So I didn't really know many people. And I managed to do a recap, and I think I did a pretty darn good job. So if I butcher a name in the pronunciation of a name, just give me a break.
Give me credit.
Victoria killed it, especially on this next match. I'm going to say. So the Best Friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Barreta, defeated Angelico and Jack Evans. Okay, this is the one that Victoria helped me out big time on. Hikaru Shida, Riho Abe, and Ryo Mizunami defeated Aja Kong, Yuka Sakazaki, and Ernie Sakura. Sorry. It's like, it was so hard for me to just, who's in the ring? It was just such an action-packed match. It was so hard to recap.
I was so good with that.
You were amazing. Victoria had them all pulled up. She knew who everybody was, so I'll let her talk about that match. Screw it. Cody Rhodes defeated the natural Dustin Rhodes. Oh, what a match. The Young Bucks defeated the Lucha Brothers to retain the AAA World Tag Team Championships. I was very surprised by that result, and I was even more surprised by this one. Chris Jericho defeated Kenny Omega, and after the match, Jon Moxley, formerly Dean Ambrose of WWE, debuted. So,
a lot of stuff
happening. Let's just, okay, where should we start first? So how about we do what me and Doug did on the Money in the Bank Wrestleview Live, and let's talk about the thing that we liked the most from the show, and I'll let you go first. What did you like most about this show? What was your favorite thing on Double or Nothing? If you had to pick one thing.
The Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was really, really good. And the reason why I say that was because I don't want to compare, but it's nice to see tag teams that it wasn't, they had great spots, and yes, there was a lot of like flips and a lot of movements and a lot of like spot moments, but it wasn't a spot match. It wasn't a spot fest. That's why I liked it.
Yeah.
So it was just every move had a point. Every move made sense. Mm-hmm. And I liked how you pointed this out with the Young Bucks, that their whole story is that they've been out for like 6 months or so.
Yeah.
So their whole story is that they had to bring back themselves into sync with one another. So they brought into the storyline of them messing up, quote unquote,
right,
their move set and their matchup. So that was really interesting to me. And I liked the dark side of the Lucha Brothers. That was really cool, because usually when you see like a lucha, like you have like this like, oh yeah, like we're spunky, we're fun, we're cool, and like
not every lucha is the Lucha House Party.
No,
Thank
but
God.
this was just like,
they were awesome.
I liked the fluidity of it. I liked how just technical they were, but it wasn't the spot fest. It was really, really cool to see, and the dynamic between. And the fact that they're actually family, the fact that the Lucha Brothers are brothers and the Young Bucks are brothers, I'm like, that's kind of nice. Like, to have that camaraderie, that natural camaraderie in the ring.
That was really cool. Yeah, I did love that story of just the Young Bucks. They, Matt Jackson's had the back injury for a year, and that's where commentary like really painted the picture for that match. Like, yeah, look at them. They can't get their timing down. There's miscues. They keep accidentally running into each other. It's great storytelling. It's little simple things like that can just get you into a match. It doesn't have to be, oh well, Nick and Matt were sleeping with Pentagon and Phoenix's girlfriends, and and then they also boinked their mother too, and this whole entire thing. It doesn't need to be like this convoluted, stupid thing. It's just, here's a little story. This is going to play into the backstory of the match, and you just go out and just have a friggin' match.
And this showed
had one.
And this just showed tag teams can be successful. Like, it's not it's manageable to do, and it's definitely achievable. Yeah. It's not like you have a tag team but the tag team has to make sense too, and obviously these tag teams did. Right. And that's kind of like why I don't want to bring WWE up into it, but that's kind of why I like the Usos work together so well, because they're actual family. And I
agree. Yeah, you have that chemistry. I mean?
But they have the chemistry.
Been a lot of great tag teams.
But you don't have to be related. But what I'm saying is, it's like there's just, when a tag team only works if there's chemistry between the partners. You're not going to just match up people for the sake of matching up people. And you have to have a tag team to fight with, to match up with, that's going to be just as equal, where they have just as equal chemistry. Right. So that's what I liked about it, and these tag teams were amazing, and it just really got you, like, and especially the reason why I like this match the most was because after the Cody versus the Dustin Rhodes match, it's like, whoa, how's anything going to top this? Yeah. And they were after them, and they still really had the crowd, like, cheering for them, and like nobody fell asleep during that.
That's what I liked about this. Everything was kind of like a progression, just built up, and just each match was just topping the next and the next and the next. Everybody is asking us about the commentary. We will talk about the commentary. Let me first say what my favorite thing on the show was, and I have to say my favorite thing on the show was the Cody versus Dustin Rhodes match. Wow. I'm an old school guy. I am. Like, I was watching old school wrestling today. Just, I suffered a really freaking terrible injury. We'll talk about that on Post Raw, because I don't want to bring the room down here. But I woke up. Let me just do a little teaser for our Post Raw, so at least you'll tune into our Post Raw show. I woke up on Thursday morning. My right arm was paralyzed. I could not move my arm. I spent the day in the emergency room. So I've been kind of on the mend, and I've been watching old school wrestling. I enjoy that stuff, man. And this was old school wrestling. Drama, that's this match. Blood, it's in this match. It was insane how much blood there was. Think about Eddie Guerrero from Judgment Day 2004 and just the geyser of blood, just like from right here, just go, just pools of blood, just spilling and spilling and spilling out. Emotional. Wow. Blood, sweat, tears. That's wrestling. That's professional wrestling. The blood was a little egregious. Victoria was cringing at certain times. She wanted, she was hoping the match would end.
wanted the match to end because
Dustin Rhodes was in trouble.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. I appreciate a good, I appreciate blood in a match. I really do. And I think, that the fact that they had the camera directly on him, they were not holding anything back, really good stuff. But for the safety of Dustin Rhodes, I was like, get this man out of here. I mean, he's literally hemorrhaging as we speak.
There were pools of blood in the ring. Cody was coated in blood. And he didn't bleed in the match. It was all Dustin's blood. The ringside mats coated in pools of blood. There was he nicked a vein really, really badly. He might have nicked the artery in his forehead. I'm speculating. I'm sure he's going to have stitches. But this was a really, really big bloodbath. But even that played in the story. It almost had to be like that because part of the story was that the blood was getting in his eyes and he couldn't see, and that was affecting the match. And
blinded by the blood.
Blinded by it, and wow, it was just on another level, and it made me realize, it's fucking barbaric to think. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to curse, but I can't help it. It's barbaric to think of people going into a ring and just taking a razor blade and cutting their head. It's barbaric, but damn, that's wrestling, man. That's what sometimes if done right, if not done egregiously, it adds so much to the match. Man, this match would have been good without the blood, but it needed the blood. It needed it just to set it over the edge. And it sure did. And then, you know what? Cody picks up the win, and this is Dustin's retirement match. But then you thought the match was good?
Not so fast.
The post-match, even better. Cody gets on the microphone and says, "You're not retiring here. I'm not letting you retire here. For next month at Fyter Fest or whatever it is, I was able to put my name down on a match against the Young Bucks with a partner of my choosing." And I'm going to pull up his words right now just so I can read them.
Because they're very powerful.
It was freaking really powerful. He says, "I don't need a partner. I don't need a friend." And they're both getting you could see that they know what's coming, and the moment is just so powerful. "I need my older brother." Cody Rhodes, Dustin Rhodes, I was choking back some tears. It was emotional. They embraced in the ring after this bloodbath, after this great match that they did, thinking of their father, I'm sure, the entire way. The late, great Dusty Rhodes. Thinking of him the entire way, embracing in the ring, crying like two little boys, it was a powerful moment. And that's the kind of stuff that I live for in wrestling. I love the real moments, the moments when the curtain comes down, the unguarded moments, man.
And I like the little stuff that happened in between too, like with Brandy Rhodes, spearing Dustin.
Oh God, there were some great moments in that match, especially when she speared Dustin, and Jim Ross goes, "By God, what kind of family is this? That's his sister-in-law." I was like, "Oh my God," I was losing my mind. That was so great.
It was great though, and listen, I thoroughly enjoyed the match. I just got on a personal level where I was like, get him out of here.
I know.
He's bleeding so much.
I'd be very interested to find out what happens to
Dustin. Overall, it was amazing. It had everything that you look for in a classic wrestling match. Mm-hmm. And something that, that really set the tone for the rest of the night after that too. Because, things were kind of slow in the beginning, but that match, you couldn't.
Yeah.
You just couldn't. You could not get excited after that. It was just amazing.
Not get excited.
Yeah.
It was just.
It was so good.
Man.
To be the devil's advocate here, though.
Okay. All right. I'm game.
Which is a very popular opinion. You would agree with me.
Okay.
And this is where I was talking about in the very beginning.
Let's go.
No need for the sledgehammer to the
okay.
throne.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about that. I want to continue on with the stuff that I liked about the show before we start nitpicking.
I just thought because it related to
this
the match.
This was my favorite thing of the evening, and it also contains one of the cringiest moments of the evening for me. And I put it out on Twitter that I didn't like the entrance of Cody Rhodes, and I got a lot of, you're just trying to be negative about everything, Mike. And I'm like, have you read my tweets tonight? All I've been is positive about this show. I just don't want to. I don't want any WWE references whatsoever. It's not necessary. We'll talk about that. I'm going to get into that because I do want to talk about that. Yeah, Nafis agrees with you as well. That it gets a little bush league when you start talking about that stuff. But you know what? I don't want to take away from what really was a triumph tonight. I'm sure there's some people that are going to hate the show, but this was way better than All In. I'll tell you that with the Joey Ryan's, the Undertaker dicks coming out to the ring and stuff like that. I didn't feel there wasn't one moment of tonight's show. And there's at least 4 or 5 on Monday Night Raw that make me feel this way, but there wasn't one moment. And when I was at All In and the Joey Ryan thing happened, I was embarrassed to be there. I'm flat out telling you right now, Goosey will tell you he was there with us, Adam and Doug. We were all, and Adam was there with his wife. Embarrassing to be at a show with people wearing inflatable dicks. I'm all for having fun. That was just stupid, okay? There wasn't one thing on this show that embarrassed me tonight.
But you know what,
about being a professional
from
wrestling
that
fan.
though,
Nothing embarrassed
and that's the
me.
thing. I think from that though, they think they learned.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? They learned that yeah, maybe we don't need to go that route. We don't need to really go to that extreme in order to get people into our product. This was definitely more than suffice to engage anybody. So that was unnecessary what they did at All In. Yeah. So this was just kind of proves you don't need that stupid crap in order to get people to like your product.
There wasn't everything was pretty much just done in the ring, and it's just this is we're getting back to the roots of pro wrestling here.
Wrestling.
That's
wrestling.
That's what AEW needs to be. They need to be an alternative, not competition, because if they're good at what they're doing, there'll be competition without even ever having to mention WWE.
That's what that's my whole point.
And tonight they showed, because they made the references early. Okay, so let's just talk about it. God damn it. Okay, you pulled me into it.
Well,
no, not you. I'm not saying you, but I pulled myself into it.
All right.
Really.
Well, I feel like I should have talked first then because I brought it up.
Then talk first.
The reason why, with the whole it's not a hating thing when I talk about Cody Rhodes doing what he did to the throne with the sledgehammer. And the reason why I say that is because you don't need, and there was little things that happened tonight that you don't need to bring WWE up. You just don't. Allow people to forget WWE entirely. Allow them to watch AEW and not have a moment. Allow people to get so invested into your match, your matches, your product, your segment, your promos, everything that you have going on. Because the moment that's what happens, in the moment, it doesn't even matter if it was on commentary or in the match or before an entrance or whatever. You allow people to avert and compare. Don't give yourself that opportunity.
Right.
Don't do that to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Just put out what you have. Because if they took that out, that still would have been a phenomenal match. People would still be talking about you. People still are going to be talking about the Dustin Rhodes Cody match. You didn't need the sledgehammer and the throne reference. You just didn't.
Yeah.
The little digs that Jim Ross made intermittently.
That's what I didn't
unnecessary.
That's what I didn't like.
Because you don't need to remind people. Don't remind people of the product.
If you
allow them to forget that you're watching, that they're like,
right.
Wait a minute, that wasn't WWE. I was watching AEW, and that was incredible.
If you talk about them, you give them power, and you come off looking like the little runt on the playground. Like, oh yeah, I'm a big boy too, like trying to step up to the biggest dog in the yard. That's not what you want. What you want is for people to just say, screw WWE. I'm just going to watch this. This is just awesome. And I don't want to hear... And when I watch this show, the last thing I want to think about is WWE and all the problems that they have. Okay? That's the last thing I want to think about. I did get on Jim Ross for making an underhanded comment because in the second match, he was saying, oh, our officials here are great. And he said the guy's name. He goes, well, at least we can say their name. And I was like, we don't need that. We don't need that. And talking about commentary, it was... awesome tonight. It really was. Excalibur was phenomenal on commentary. I've never even heard of Excalibur before. He was friggin' awesome. Alex Marvez is great. Jim Ross started really slow for me. And when he was making the jabs, I was like, oh, God, please stop, Jim, stop. And when he was talking about the women, and he's like, that's a lot of woman on the top rope there. It's like, oh, God, you're like, oh, my God, that's like... there's somebody that's going to be offended by that. Please, Jim, you're a little old, And then when the Cody match happened, Jim Ross just fell back into it. He just fell back into his groove. He became JR again, and man, there was he had some great calls throughout the night, especially in the Young Bucks match. The Jericho match, he was just awesome. He really was, and it was great to see him back on his feet.
It was definitely Jim Ross did not impress me much in the very beginning of the show, but again, that was another thing that just as the night went on, he impressed me with because they added to the matches, they didn't overpower the matches, and they just gave little like bits and pieces of information that the fans would not know if you weren't following these individuals.
Correct.
So that's what I liked about it.
They were
it's not
laying
like
the
they were
backstory.
Screaming like, "Oh, you shut up, Corey, or Renee!" Like,
oh
whatever,
my God, yeah, there was nobody trying to step on each other and one up each other.
Because
it took JR a while to find his groove. It really did. It took him a
no
while
doubt
to get into it.
But he did
once he did, it was great.
No,
and it wasn't about the damn
commentary.
It
was
the
about
commentators
the match.
trying to get themselves over. They were getting the matches over.
But they still made themselves
and when
useful,
right? And when you get the matches over, it makes the show just so much better. It's like that's the one thing I didn't feel like I was watching matches for the that were just pointless nothings. Like even the Hanako and Jack Evans match versus the best friends, They were painting the picture like these guys are contenders. They're going to be players in AEW, and this tag match is going to mean something, even though it just seems kind of random. The whole show started off with multi-person matches, and that's kind of how a New Japan show kind of does it too. They start off with a lot of six-mans and triple threats and stuff like that, and then
which is cool though.
Then it moves to the main events, but I forget where my point was going now, unfortunately.
No, I'm saying with the commentary. It's just, it's not, and that is why, like, they don't need to mention WWE.
Yeah.
They don't need it.
Like, I think they'll learn from that. I really do. And a lot of people are saying, let Jim Ross have that one. I'll totally let Jim Ross have that one. Jim Ross has been stepped on, spit on, shit on by WWE for forever. So if he wants to take a shot, be my guest. But I don't want to see Cody Rhodes coming out and destroying the Triple H throne and coming out in Triple H's old Hunter Hearst Helmsley robe and stuff like that. That's not the stuff I want to see.
But I have a question.
That's not the stuff anybody wants to see. And actually, the only thing I will say about that in the positive is that he also kissed Vince McMahon's ass. Thank you for reminding me of that. Jim Ross is a proud card-carrying member of the Vince McMahon Kiss My Ass Club. But the one thing I will say about the Cody entrance is that in some way, for the storyline of what they were doing, it made sense. And I'll just say this: The storyline is that Cody wanted to end his brother so he could finally kill the Attitude Era, and part of that, destroying the throne is him destroying the Attitude Era in a sense because it's Triple H, but it was just not necessary. Don't make that a habit.
What's the beef with Triple H though? Is it Triple H himself, is it is it the McMahons?
He's the talent guy. He's the face because Vince hides in his office now. He doesn't talk to anybody anymore. So Triple H is sent to do a lot of the dirty work. When the Young Bucks were getting courted by WWE, it was Triple H making all the calls, and they were talking with him, and they made fun of him on the being the elite video series that they do. They made fun of him on that, and then tonight they were just doing more stuff to him. But Triple H also at the Hall of Fame, so it goes both ways. WWE definitely gave credence to AEW,
right,
by mentioning them in their Hall of Fame speech. So there is something to that. So I will say it goes both ways. I didn't like the comment at the Hall of Fame speech either.
No, and I don't either. But I just think that my issue with it being Triple H himself is because I find that he's more progressive in what the company should be.
Right.
Because what the point I want to make real quick before we go on to other good stuff, because this really was good. Anytime I go to like an NXT show, I'm always really impressed.
Yeah.
I'm always like, wow, why can't the main roster be what NXT is doing? A lot of people who don't know who these upcomers are, but they just really like kill it each time. And that's how I felt about this show tonight. I felt like AEW was just as good as like the NXT shows that we've been to, and I feel like they had very not similar styles per se, but I had that feel of when I go to an NXT show and I'm just like, wow, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, this is really, really cool.
The crowds and everything.
And that's why, like, I have a problem with, like, it being Triple H per se, because he's the one who runs NXT. And if NXT, I'm saying NXT is that, like, if Triple H ran the main roster, like, full and had all control, it'd be a different show.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like,
well,
but that's neither here nor there. But I just felt like AEW really, like, stepped up. Like, they are definitely a force to be reckoned with at this point.
No doubt.
Like, they and I'm happy to say that now, because I really was skeptical. I was like, please, they're never going to get anywhere. No one could touch that company and think that they're going to actually be as successful. They really do have the potential to be as successful, because when I looked at even
cards right. Yeah.
When I looked at even that arena tonight, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. Well, yeah, it was just a great show, great atmosphere and everything. The 6-man tag to kick off the show. I didn't catch the pre-show. I'm just gonna preface that right now. We ordered the show on pay-per-view through our cable provider Comcast, and I go to watch the show. I go to watch the pre-show, and nothing's happening. I was on the phone for an hour, and I missed the pre-show, and I wound up having to get a refund from Comcast, and we ordered it on the BR Live app. So, and we watched it through Apple TV. So that's how we got it. We just got the 6-man tag to kick off the show. That was a fun way to kick off the show. I like Christopher Daniels, Frank Kazarian, Scorpio Sky. I loved Scorpio Sky, actually, I got to say. SEMA was awesome in this too. T-Hawk, El Lindemann. It's a fun 6-man tag. A good way to kick off the show. Just set the pace.
Yeah.
They didn't do too much.
No.
But it just gets you started. Whets the appetite.
They kind of went with a bang, but it was kind of like, I know, this is just a little appetizer.
Yeah.
Just wait for the main course.
Right. It whetted my appetite for sure, for just getting it going. But, I was like, it is what it is. So we get ready for a triple threat match, which was supposed to be Kylie Rae, Nyla Rose, and Dr. Britt Baker. Brandy Rhodes comes out. She's dressed to compete. I was like, oh, Brandy's going to join this match? And then she said, I want this match to be awesome. And then Awesome Kong comes out to a big ovation. Cool to see Awesome Kong. Nice to have her back. I'd be interested to see what she does in AEW. But Nyla Rose has a great look. Hold on, wait.
Okay.
I'm not criticizing. I mean, as a great look, I mean she's big. She looks intimidating. I didn't think that she made much of an impact in this match, though, like at all. I thought that her showing was quite disappointing, as well as Awesome Kong. I didn't think Awesome Kong, it was all entrance, and after that, she was kind of like an afterthought in this match.
I don't 100% agree. The one thing I don't like about Nyla Rose.
And I didn't think that either Nyla Rose or Awesome Kong were convincingly taken out of the match to lead to the small girls, like getting
getting the victory. The one thing I don't like about Nyla Rose, I think she's compared to Nia Jax.
Oh, well, I didn't get that.
I mean, I know she got the whole Native American, but
Oh, sugar! I did not know this. I know nothing about Kylie Rose. I guess the reason why I thought the attire was a little odd. She's transgender. She's the first.
Nyla Rose.
Nyla Rose. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Nyla Rose is the first transgender wrestler in AEW.
Oh,
I didn't know that. Okay, then never mind.
No, good for
See,
her.
that's what you learn in the chat room. That's how that's how clean a slate that we went into it. We didn't do any research whatsoever. Actually, now that you mention that, I find that kind of damn impressive.
Wow. Good for her.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Well. No. Okay.
What else can you say?
But no, I'm saying I thought because I think they had those little things they did try to compare, Nia Jax, Nyla Rose. It's it's to me it's so, I know it's so minuscule.
Let's not even compare WWE.
I don't like that.
But
I liked Awesome Kong coming out.
Yeah.
I agree with you in the fact that her getting taken out of the match the way she didn't really constitute for Kylie and
Awesome Kong.
And no.
Britt Baker
to get the victory. Do you know what I mean?
Oh! You're talking about Kylie Ray and Britt Baker. Yeah,
right. I didn't agree. I agree with you on that one, but I thought in the beginning part of the match, you were utilizing Awesome Kong the way they should have.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Yeah, she looked like a monster in the beginning part of the match, but then once she got taken out of the match, that was it. Awesome Kong was just kind of an afterthought. I would have thought if you're gonna debut Awesome Kong like that, Awesome Kong's winning this match or whatever, or making a big impact, and it wound up being Britt Baker and Kylie Ray, and Britt Baker pinned her with Ushigoroshi. Britt Baker looked good in this match, but nothing in this really knocked my socks off.
Wait, now I'm very confused.
Okay, we'll continue on anyway. What are you confused about?
Wait, who is the transgender wrestler?
Kylie Ray.
Kylie Ray?
Yeah,
Nyla Rose.
Sorry, Nyla Rose. God damn it.
No, I just don't know the name. So
Nyla Rose, the Native American one. Yeah. Okay. All right. So the best friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Barreta, taking on Hanako and Jack Evans. A lot of action in this. It got a little spotty for me at times. And the post-match was pretty confusing because usually, I like when the commentators at least know a little something. And, they were attacked by the Super Smash Brothers. And actually, Sandro told me who they were because they were like, oh, I don't know these guys, and even the crowd was chanting, who are you, who are you?
Right.
It was Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, the Super Smash Brothers. They attacked him after the match, so that was a little confusing. There were certain times in the match, and you were saying this about Angelico and Jack Evans, their attire is a little too similar. It's hard to follow the action sometimes, and it's it just at times they're moving so fast and just doing stuff. It just looked like a green blur in the ring.
Yeah, no, and that confused me a little bit.
It confused me, and I thought the match was a little too spotty at times, but in the end, they kind of pulled me into it. It was a good tag match.
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff going on. A little too much.
Well, that's the thing. I didn't hate anything tonight. There wasn't anything on the show where I was like, oh, I'm watching this right now. This really isn't that great.
Right.
There were I would say the worst thing that happened was decent tonight.
Yeah.
And to me, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, my worst.
And all the decent stuff was early in the show.
Right. So, like, it wasn't anything where I was complaining about, where I was disengaged. Mm-hmm. The worst thing was decent. And I'm cool with that.
Okay. So the next match, so this was pretty good. The next match, Aja Kong, Sakazaki, and Emi Sakura. I think I called her Ernie before because it looked in my recap. My eyes are just like really blurry right now. It looks like it's an R and an N next to each other, but it's Emi Sakura versus Shida, Abe, and Mizunami. You're the expert of this match. What did you think of this match?
I really liked it. Like, I liked Kong in this match. When you told me about her history, like that she was in WWF, I was like, whoa. That's kind of cool. You know, I thought they had a really good matchup overall. I mean, there were certain spots that I didn't care for necessarily. It definitely took a while to build up the match. But again, I'm okay with a slow starting match than like things picking up. I mean, I was just thoroughly shocked that Kong wrestled as much as she did, considering that she's, you know,
so big and so old.
Right. I mean, but like, and I like the fact that they mentioned how Kong was like their trainer and like, you know, that, but there's a
whole story there.
Yeah. I like the little story behind it, and it gravitated me towards the match. But, no, I mean, I thought these women were fantastic.
Yeah.
And I liked how, what I really like about AEW is doing, they're bringing different aspects of different
cultures.
Cultures and companies in there. Like, I like that whole, you know, Asian influence and like type of wrestling. Well, like, it's really cool. Yeah, like, it's something new and refreshing, right. And it's showcasing too.
That's kind of like what people liked about ECW when the original ECW back in the day, was that it wasn't just like hardcore wrestling. Like, you also had guys like Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko go through their technical wrestling. You had luchadors like Rey Mysterio go through there. You know, there was a little bit of everything for everybody on those cards, on most of their big cards. You know, they even had guys coming from Japan for their first. Taka Michinoku was in the first ECW pay-per-view. That's great stuff. You know, you have to bring people in from other places. You know, because like what I'm looking for in professional wrestling, I'll tell you what I'm looking for is just a little variety.
Yeah.
You know, everybody kind of, you know, like the shows that I watch. You know, everything's kind of the same. Everybody wrestles the same. They talk the same, this and that. Like, here it's like different style. And it was so much fun to recap. It was so much fun to watch. You know, just like no two matches were the same tonight.
No, and that's
what's
and
awesome.
that's what I really, really enjoyed about it. Especially with this match, it was getting that totally different culture, that totally different style. But it was still amazing, and these women were, like I said, it was very confusing. Like, oh, who's in the ring? Who's in the ring? Who's in the ring? But
the only thing that was bad was I know you liked Aja Kong. I thought she was a little slow and just like meandering, and the pot shot or whatever that thing was that she hit her with was lame, and also the timekeeper ringing the bell. Before the match that took away from the finish.
But if I didn't know the history of Aja Kong, I probably would agree with you.
Yeah.
But because of the fact that you told me, like, oh, she was in WWF,
she was in WCW,
and she would, and her age,
yeah,
that impressed me.
She's been around.
She really around. I don't think. Because you would expect them not to utilize her as much, as she's kind of be like in the back and her tag partner. She was a
front and center.
Yeah, that surprised me, and that she was still able to kind of like move for the, like how that she's older. So,
oh yeah. Okay, let's keep going here. Let's keep pushing on. So Cody versus the Natural Dustin Rhodes. Again, like, you know, we kind of already talked about this, but you know, I just want to say again, just how freaking fun this match was. Dramatic, bloody, gory, you know, a little excessive gore at sometimes, but it was just so much. It was so emotional and so great. But we covered that one pretty well.
But they strategically placed that match too.
Oh yeah.
It was like dead center of, like, you know, of the pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. And it was so planned. Like, that was planned perfectly, because it really kind of like took the show to the next level.
Yeah.
You got like that feel of like, you know, these are now you're getting to like the main core of like AEW.
Yeah.
So this is just of what AEW is about. Like, we're gonna give you blood. We're gonna give you story. We're gonna give you
stories that you can get invested in.
Yeah,
Drama.
Exactly. Like this, and
it was really well
that's
done.
why it worked so well the way it did tonight too.
I agree with that 100%. Okay, the next thing was really, really cool. They were going to do the AEW championship presentation. At one point, they showed the commentators on camera, and Jim Ross was just like uber confused. Like, he was, I don't know what the hell happened. He was like, oh no, that was before the Dustin Cody race. He's like, I think we're supposed to talk about. He's looking at his notes. He has no idea what's going on. I was like, oh my god, this is so bad. Just go to the video package. But anyway, like, so like he's like, oh yeah, he was saying like how beautiful the AEW championship is, and then they're like, here's a big surprise. Bret the Hitman Hart came out with the title to present it in the ring. That immediately gives that title some major league credibility, man. Bret the Hitman Hart. Somewhere in Lebanon, Paul Nemert is just going nuts over Bret Hart being on AEW.
Yay for Paul.
Bret was, you know, I just love how Bret like talks about like all of his stuff like it's like real life and all that stuff. He's just hilarious. Like he lives his gimmick. Like he grew up thinking wrestling's real, and I think when he had his matches, I think he thought that every one of them was real. He's like, I defended the title here 26 years ago. It's like, oh yeah, that match against Yokozuna? Cool. That was a great match, Bret. Tell us more. Oh my god. And a lot of people are thinking that if Ric Flair didn't have the heart surgery earlier this week, that this was supposed to be the Ric Flair spot. But Bret did a great job here, no doubt. And you know who did a better job here? MJF. Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
So good.
Was hilarious in
He was
this.
so good.
It was awesome. He was hilarious. So they brought out Hangman Page, who won the Casino Battle Royal earlier, so he gets a shot at the AEW World Championship in the future against whoever wins the Jericho Omega match. And MJF is just, you know, saying that Hangman Page is a horse face, calling him Seabiscuit. He calls Hart old man, and he tells him that a fan is coming to attack him in the ring. And then he gets attacked by Jungle Boy, Jimmy Havoc, and Hangman Page, and gets run out through the crowd. And then Bret Hart finally holds up the AEW World Championship. But unfortunately, when he held it up, the cameras were still on the brawl. I
still haven't seen it,
so no one actually saw a full-on shot of the AEW World Title. But
I'm assuming it looks nice.
It does look nice. I do have a picture of it here. But yeah, but like
I still have yet to see it.
Bret jumped the gun a little bit there. I thought, you know, I was like, Bret, just hold on a second.
Just
wait for it to transition, please, a little more, please. But MJF was hilarious here. This was just a great presentation. It was a lot of fun. They didn't make it uber serious. You know, it's just like, here's the belt. Here's a great world champion coming out to present it, and that's all you need.
And again, what was nice about this is that this was a very dominant wrestling show, which is what it should be. It's pro wrestling, but you're getting a sneak peek of MJF and other people who can go on the mic too.
Right.
And he is very good on the mic.
Great chance to shine.
Natural.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that you're going to get too of when you have a pay-per-view. But again, that was like the main thing on the mic tonight. Nobody else really like spoke that as long as he did for the most part. So that was awesome. Like that's just
Nafis Sadat says MJF, a star in the making, Miz-esque skills. Victoria's gonna like
I agree.
That one.
Oh my god, he took the words out of my mouth because that's what I was saying. I had such Miz vibes from that. So yes, I totally agree with you.
Yeah. Okay. Victoria agrees.
Yay!
Yeah. All right. The next match for the AAA World Tag Team Championships, we talked about this is Victoria's favorite of the evening. The Young Bucks defeating the Lucha Brothers to retain the AAA. There was just I honest to God, I have no idea how I got a competent recap out of this at all, because there was action upon action upon action in this, just moves and just wow, just so much action, so much fun. One of the best tag matches I've ever seen, let alone recapped. Okay?
So good.
That's how good this was.
So good.
I just had a ton of fun watching it. And the entire time the commentators are putting over, about tag team wrestling and the emphasis on it. And, we're going to do 10 counts for the ring, because that just makes more sense. You do a 5 count, doesn't make sense. Like everything here is going to make sense. It was just good stuff.
My favorite.
And they kept emphasizing how important tag team wrestling is, and you just felt like you were watching something really special because you were watching something really special anyway. But the commentary painted the picture. It was, and the story told in the ring with the Young Bucks again hadn't
what you said.
Hadn't
what
been
I was saying
wrestling.
before.
Yeah,
what you said.
You were saying,
but what you said initially.
Yeah, just a great story. And they told that story in the ring. And damn, I miss when people just are able to tell stories in the ring, because so much of like what we see nowadays is just like here's a match and here's a whole bunch of spots and nothing means anything and the finish.
But this is where
everything played into the finish.
But this is where the commentary. Well, it started with the Dustin Rhodes and Cody match, but this is where the commentary was really, really helpful. Because you already had like a backstory on Cody and Dustin, let's face it, you know what I mean?
Right.
Just because of who they are. But like these guys, it really was nice to hear and paint that picture. And this is where the commentary was just like so helpful, but again, not overwhelming. You're still looking at the match and like just in awe and amazement.
Yeah. Uh-huh. It was just good stuff. You're 100% right, my dear. 100% right. Main event time. Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega. Jericho's entrance was running through all of his old gimmicks. The Lionheart gimmick.
Wait, before you go into that entrance.
Okay.
Say what you said when they were showing the promo of what Jericho was saying. That you were really like, yes, this is what it should be.
I don't remember.
About the wins and losses?
Oh, yeah. Jericho was just saying, like, wins, everybody says that, losing doesn't matter. Well, that's not true. Wins and losses mean everything in professional wrestling. And this one is going to be the biggest in my career and this and that. And it was just a great way. The video packages tonight were awesome. So Jericho's entrance was running through his old gimmicks. It was the Lionheart entrance first, then the list of Jericho gimmick and the LED jacket. Then finally we get evil Chris Jericho coming out. They just had a great match going back and forth. They'd obviously already had a match in New Japan, and that was like one of the weird criticisms, very strange criticisms I've seen this week. People who just want to troll and can't have fun, and they don't. And if they can't have fun, they damn sure don't want you to have fun. They damn sure don't want you to have fun at all, because they want to just kill all joy. One of the weird things I saw was, well, they already had a match on New Japan Pro Wrestling, so who cares? It's like, are you kidding me? You're going to talk about a match that maybe 10,000 people saw, that was on at 7 a.m. in America on a Thursday or whatever it was. Are you freaking kidding me?
Wait a minute.
Are you freaking kidding me? And you're trying to say that that's going to water down this pay-per-view, Jericho and Omega?
Okay.
Give me a break.
So wait a minute. So you're going to complain about that, right? When people like The Undertaker have multiple matches and rematches of people, but yet that's okay?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? That makes no sense. You're getting mad because these people are wrestling again?
Yeah.
Who cares?
I know. I know.
And they're on a bigger platform now.
Right. Exactly. and they had a great match. It wasn't the greatest match I've ever seen, but they worked hard. Omega had a busted nose. Their chests were, beat red from chops, and, Omega went. I love the reference. They used the table in creative ways. Jericho had the table on top of him. Omega did a top rope double foot stomp to the table on the floor, and the table didn't break, and the commentator goes, I am the table. I love that. I love Botchamania. And then Omega wound up going through the table clean as a button, off a back body drop from the ring to the floor, which is totally cool. I didn't see Jericho winning this match at all. So Jericho hits a big code breaker, then he hits the Judas effect, which is a vicious just back elbow to the face, and he pinned Kenny Omega. Big surprise, really, really big surprise. It's going to be Jericho versus Hangman Page sometime in the future, either next month or a few months from now, like Bret Hart said, which is a great line. And he goes, sorry, it's been a while. And they'll be going for the AEW championship. Fun stuff. After the match, Jericho grabs the microphone. The crowd's booing him. Oh, you're ungrateful. Lighten up your marks. I don't give a rat's ass what you think about me. I am AEW. This company is not for the fans, which got me I was rolling when he was saying all this
I
stuff.
loved everything about that.
Hilarious. Jericho was so great here. I sold the tickets out in 4 minutes. I got us a TV deal. I got us the cool logo. And when I beat Kenny Omega, I said I was going to demand one thing, and I demand a thank you. And guess what? They promised surprises tonight. I kind of figured this would happen somewhere down the line. I didn't think it would happen right now. Jon Moxley, formerly Dean Ambrose, comes out to an enormous ovation. Just spectacular. Lays out Jericho with the double arm DDT. Lays out the referee with the double arm DDT. And then he grabs Omega, and then they start fighting. And they just have this brawl that was just like super awesome. They brawl through the crowd. And they wind up on top of the poker chips, which were the stage set decorations. Moxley, and I wrote it in my recap a few times, Ambrose, and I have to get that out of my mind now. And I went back and changed it all, but Moxley gives Omega the double arm DDT on top of the poker chips, and then he gives him a Death Valley driver off the chips through the stage. So that's your next big feud. Probably going to happen at All Out at the end of August at the Sears Center with Moxley versus Omega.
Yeah.
Man, what a great debut for Moxley. What an awesome debut. It's like he was positioned right at the top of the card, and it's just wow.
I have to really
so much fun.
Swallow my pride in this one because I really thought...
Wait, hold on. This is new. This never happens. Not in this house.
No, because I really genuinely thought when Moxley, formerly known as Dean Ambrose, left WWE, I was like, there is no way he's actually leaving the company. Like, there's no way that they announced it and, whatever. And I truly genuinely thought, I'm like, they don't usually make these announcements like that, or usually it works into WWE and I started speculating, obviously, once he wasn't on WrestleMania and once they didn't even promote him anymore. And then once he actually left the company, but this was a real surprise for me. Not tonight necessarily. I knew that he had joined AEW and everything. But in general, this was just if you told me this months ago, I would have been like, you're ridiculous. There's no way that he's actually leaving WWE. His wife still works with the company. She's a commentator. There's no chance that he's actually, this is all work right now. This is just a way for him to, again, reinvent himself and become a new character into whatever. So this was 100% surprising. But I'm very, very happy to see that he is going to be able to showcase this new person and do what he wants to do and really be Jon Moxley, be the guy that everybody saw the potential and what he has. And let's just see what he does. What is his spiel? Yeah. I agree. I'm very interested to see what Jon Moxley can do with the cuffs off, with the chains off, so to speak, and see what we were missing on the other show. Jason F says, because you just admitted that you were wrong and had to swallow your pride. He said, now, Vic, take a shot for knowing nothing about professional wrestling. Jason, she cannot take a shot. She is with Baby right now. Yeah.
Jeez, man.
Baby Tedesco.
But, Baby Tedesco is also co-hosting the show tonight as well. But maybe we can talk about that after the birth of Baby Tedesco. We shall see. But that was just a great surprise. And, man, the show goes off the air with Jon Moxley. What's next? Well, what is next for AEW? I can't wait to see what's next. I can't wait. After watching this show, some people, like I said, some people are going to love it. Some people are going to hate it. There was surprises on this show. There was great wrestling. It's just tons of fun. I think
if you went into it with an open mind, you're going to enjoy it.
Right.
But if you went into it with a negative mindset, you weren't going to enjoy it.
Right. And you know what else? I think if you went into it with this bitter mindset too, I hope that, these people that are like, oh, WWE's the enemy, I hope that you just watched this show and just enjoyed it and weren't just sitting there like, haha, WWE doesn't do that, because you missed the point about it too. You are also part of the problem here. It's not, oh, WWE doesn't do this or whatever. It's, how about just, this is great pro wrestling. And if you're watching it trying to laugh at WWE, you're not enjoying this show.
But I don't know.
You're not giving this show a fair shake. Let the show stand on its own. And
I don't know why though.
Can like
you would,
both.
Right. I don't know why you would want WWE to fail, because the reason why I say that is because the reason why I'm rooting for both these companies is because there's really raw talent on both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So why am I going to root against individuals that I know have potential, I know who are great wrestlers? So even in WWE, yes, execution right now, they're having a huge problem. They have major flaws right now. There's no doubt about it. But I don't want to root against them. I don't want to hate it.
I'm not rooting against anybody.
But what I'm saying is, like, when I watch Raw and I talk about Raw on the podcast and I'm, we're doing the show, lately I have a lot of negative things to say. I'm not going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to pretend that I'm like, oh, no, it's still great. It's whatever. It's very, very flawed right now. I can wholeheartedly admit that. But I don't want to not enjoy it. That's the thing. I want to enjoy the show because I know there's great people, because Dean Ambrose was on that show not too long ago, and I was rooting for him to do well. He wasn't clicking, though.
Right.
He wasn't able to be who he wanted to be.
Right.
So if this is an opportunity for somebody in AEW or WWE, you have to go where you feel like you fit and you connect and you're getting the most respect.
Right.
So, and the same thing with AEW. Again, I was laughing at them. I'm like, there's no way. But they proved a lot of people wrong.
Right.
In the fact that they are showcasing a lot of great talent. And I'm happy for it.
Yeah.
Why am I going to knock it?
Like Power to the Smarks says over here, let's all agree to root for more wrestling and good wrestling for that.
Yeah.
Matter. Let's just enjoy wrestling. This is like, everybody's talking about, when's that golden era of wrestling going to happen again? When's that golden era going to happen? It was the 80s, it was the 90s.
Maybe this is it.
When's the next one? This is it. We're in the golden era of wrestling right now. Enjoy the ride. I don't think WWE is going to wake up immediately and just start becoming a better show because there's some competition or there's another show that's getting good reviews.
But they're on the radar.
But I think eventually it'll happen. I think they'll eventually wake up. But AEW right now, what a triumph! What an awesome show! I am so happy that I watched this tonight. I am so happy that I went into this with an open mind and didn't didn't let the internet sway me or anything like that, or bitterness and what have you. This was just a fun show. Pro wrestling for the sake of pro wrestling again, man. I am so psyched. They made me a believer tonight, and hey, I'm all in. What can I say? Let's see one more time. Let's take a look at the fan poll here on the Twitter, and we're at 93% thumbs up with 131 votes so far. 10 hours left. If you haven't voted, go vote on Twitter. And with that, I think we're going to wrap this up because it's Saturday night and
I gotta sleep.
She's got to sleep, and we got stuff to do. So, with that being said, please, thank you everybody for tuning in with us tonight.
Yeah,
we had a great chat room tonight. Amazing, awesome chat room tonight. On a no build, totally surprise show, which was totally awesome. I'm Mike Tedesco. That's Victoria Tedesco. She's the host. We're both the hosts of the Post Raw show. And I'll give you my arm story on Monday. I promise everybody. Everybody's asking.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. I will tell you all about it.
And if you've been following my Instagram,
yeah. Follow
you got a
Victoria's
taste.
Instagram. Yeah, exactly. And then also on this channel is the great Doug Lackey, who also hosts Wrestleview Live with me. He is the host of Wrestleview Weekly every week. That's kind of what the name kind of says. And I'm sure Doug will have more to say about this on his show as well. But for now, we are just so happy that you all joined us, and we had a lot of fun talking about this. Everybody, have a great rest of your weekend. Stay safe on Memorial Day weekend. We will see you on Memorial Day for the Post Raw show number 40. With that being said, I'm Mike Tedesco.
I'm Victoria Tedesco.
Have a great rest of the weekend. Ciao.
Bye.